Peter King, the MMQB.com, Football Night in America, Sports Illustrated. Peter, did you watch the Belichick press conference?
I just watched it on tape. I was busy when it happened, but I just watched it, and what was so interesting, I thought, is that oftentimes you see Belichick when there's a controversy, he just totally clams up. He says, either we're on to Cincinnati or we're at the league or something like that. This was a very well thought out, well planned, exhaustive explanation that after you listen to him, you would really have no questions left to him anyway. Other than, it sounds like you're throwing this all on Tom Brady. But so it tells me either one of two things. It tells me that either he absolutely 100% knew nothing, or he absolutely 100% wants everybody to believe he knew nothing. So we'll see what the league does from here. But one of the things, Chris, that I don't think there's going to be anything done really in this case before the Super Bowl. I think it's going to come after the Super Bowl, because I think one of the things the NFL is going to want to do is they're going to try to, I think, going back to how they handled the Saints deal, where they looked into a lot of forensic computer evidence. I would not be surprised if they make an effort anyway to look at the communication between the organization and the ball boys.
What do you believe the NFL, Peter? What do you believe the NFL is doing right now? Asking questions of everybody involved, but I don't think it's going to come from asking questions. The Saints thing didn't break from asking Sean Payton and Greg Williams questions. It only broke when Greg Williams was confronted with some proof that they had, some email proof inside the organization. So I doubt sincerely that anybody is going to voluntarily say to the NFL, yes, I took the air out of 11 footballs. So I think that's why they need to look at forensic evidence and not just the accounts of people who are involved. Talking to Peter King, the MMQB.com, Football Night in America, Sports Illustrated. When you listen to that Belichick press conference, is there anything he didn't answer that you would have liked to hear him answer?
Not that I can think of, Chris. I mean, I think he probably thought out all the questions first and what they would be. This is a question I have. The question I have as far as, the ball boys themselves, I would like to know, I really want to hear from them. That's what I think is important now. You hear from Tom Brady this afternoon. I want to hear from the ball boys. I want to ask them very specific questions. Do you carry a needle on your person during the game after you get the balls from the NFL? I mean, we're all trying to figure out how possibly these balls could have been deflated, if indeed they were deflated in a systematic way. The only way I can figure out is to put a needle in every one for 3 or 4 seconds to let some air out of each ball. That's the only way I can figure out that it would be done. But who knows? I don't. But I think the next real question, the next logical question is, how long were the footballs away from official control before they got onto the sidelines of the field? And I've written about this a couple of times this week. When I did my series last year, A Week in the Life of the Officiating Crew, followed Gene Sterator's crew. The headlinesman on that crew last year is a guy named Wayne Mackey, and he was very, very persnickety about how long it was between the time the balls left the officials' locker room and the time the game started. It was just a matter of a couple of minutes. It was not, people think they're in some hallway or somewhere else for a half hour. Not to my knowledge. I think it's just a matter of minutes that they are not in control of the officials or
in plain sight on the sidelines during the game.
If the NFL deems that the Patriots did doctor the footballs, what kind of punishment can we expect?
It depends who doctored them and who ordered the code red. I mean, that's a wide open question. I mean, if they determine that Belichick knew nothing, I don't know. First of all, I don't know if that would change their opinion about, well, we got to take draft choices away. Or, if they determine that a player was involved, would they then want to suspend that player for a couple of games at the start of next year? I mean, those are the things that I think we need to find out who is culpable before determining, how big a sanction is. But if they find out that somebody in the organization or a player was involved in it, I think the punishment's going to be severe. Everybody's saying, well, what is severe? I don't know the answer to that. I think it probably involves, though, either a suspension. I don't know that a fine does anything, really. They'll probably fine him, but I think a suspension would probably be in order.
What do you expect to hear from Brady this afternoon?
My gut feeling is he's going to say, I don't know what anybody is talking about. I never told anybody to take air out of the balls. That's just my guess, but I don't know.
Good to visit with you, Peter. Appreciate a couple of minutes.
All right, Chris, take care.
That's Peter King, the MMQB.com, Football Night in America.